Welcome to the month of June, and we here at How Working Women, we are talking about formalization and growth of your business. My name is Charity, and I'm going to be taking you through this segment. Just to make formalization more digestible to all you viewers, formalization is the act of giving something a legal face or a legal form. We have very many types of registration or formalization. We have business registration, we have registration of brands, and we also have registration of marriages. Today's segment is going to be looking at registration of marriages, and I have a guest from URSB who's going to be taking us through that topic. She's called Provi, and I'm so excited to hear from her and what she has to share with us.
Thank you, Charity. My name is Provia, and I work in Uganda Registration Services Bureau in the Civil Registration Docket.
So, Madam Provi, kindly tell us, what is URSB's role in registration of marriages?
First of all, I would want to demystify your last statement about if you want to separate, nobody gets married to separate.
Really?
So don't start off by by thinking about it when you're getting married.
Sure.
Marriage is a happy moment. So when you get married, you want to remain together forever. So URSB, among others, does register marriages. But there are a number of marriages that are recognized in Uganda. There are 5. They are monogamous and polygamous to cater for interests of different people. I would say in this case, men come out actually strong. We have monogamous marriages, which are the civil marriages, which we conduct at URSB within Kampala. And outside Kampala, they are conducted by the chief administrative officers on behalf of the state. The marriage function is a responsibility of the state. It's a database. And then we have church marriages, which are conducted in different churches, which we call faith-based organizations, which are those are monogamous. Then we have the Hindu marriages, which are also monogamous. Then we go ahead to have the third and fourth and fifth, which are polygamous, and those are the Muslim marriages, which allow men to have up to 4 wives. But of course, you need to understand that the Muslim law says have what you can manage to take care of, and share the equal love with the different wives that you have. And then lastly, we have the customary marriage, which is also polygamous, and allows a man to have as many wives. There's no limit, because traditionally we are culturalists. So if the man can manage and meets the expectations of the culture, then he can have as many wives and ensure that all those wives are registered as his legal wives. So those are the marriages that we conduct. But specifically today, I will dwell a lot on civil marriages. Civil marriages, one should be 18 and above. Our constitution is very clear on who an adult is. So don't come and ask me tomorrow when you find a student getting married, because with COVID we have 18 years still in school, but the law allows for someone to get married above 18 years. So as long as there's consent of the two people, they're understanding, there's none that is sick and cannot make a decision on their own, then we process their paperwork and allow them to choose a date and get married.
Question. These marriages whereby someone stops at the Kwanjula in the Luganda local language, does that qualify to be a real marriage? Like, no one, if you just stop at Kwanjula, is someone actually married? If they don't believe in church, if they're atheists?
When I spoke about, I don't know who atheists are. I think someone must have something they believe in. When I spoke about the different types of marriages, I mentioned the customary marriage. Kwanjula is the customary marriage. So if as long as you meet the criteria of that custom of where the woman belongs. So different people will tell you to get married in my home, bring a letter, show. I don't know, there's so many things you have to do according to that custom. But so if you meet those requirements of the person's, the lady's parents, then you proceed to have them married, then you go and register it at the sub-county. After the sub-county chief has received your details, files them, sends them to our office. So URSB generally is in charge of all the different marriages. If we don't wed you in church, we still must have your records with us.
Somewhere.
If we didn't wed you in the mosque, we still must have your records
somewhere. Okay. So if a couple is interested in conducting a church wedding, what requirements must they, or criteria must they look out for in that church, their church of interest they want to get married?
I think the most important thing is they must ensure the church has a license to celebrate marriages. Now, this license is not, we are not meaning that as government we come and ask you, is your pastor of age, did your pastor go to school? The license that is granted on grounds that the church actually has a permanent premise. The church has maybe an in-house pastor or priest. The church has a location where you can find it in case, I mean, you're following up on something.
True.
And evidence also that they own the place where they are for purposes of posterity. So you as a couple, before you get married, have a conversation with the church. It may maybe be a painful conversation if they don't have a license, but you can still come and search at our offices to find out if the church is licensed to celebrate marriages.
Okay, that means churches that rent their premises don't qualify, because you mentioned that you have to have a permanent premise.
No, you can be renting premises, but you have proof that you're actually renting the premises.
Sure.
Yeah, but you see churches have their own, they have the administrative measures that they undertake before someone actually gets married. So each church has its own, so I will not actually go into those details because I may actually not know.
True.
Yes, so I will focus on the civil marriages that we conduct, which we are conducting right now, by the way, as we go on.
In scenarios whereby one's marriage is in question, how can one check the validity of their marriage certificate?
We have had like cases, for example, when a couple is planning to travel out of the country, and we have a foreign consulate, so embassies contacting us to verify if the marriage certificate attached is genuine or issued by us. Now, you need to understand that if you got married elsewhere, the marriage must be filed with us. We must have a record of that marriage. So we can only have the record when it was filed with us. You see? So the verification we give is we do a search in our system and find out if you actually have your record. If we conducted the marriage, it's much easier for us to verify because the records are our own. If it was a civil marriage, we look through our record, we look at the signature, and we look at also other specific items, other codes that are ours, because you know, I mean, our country people forge a lot of things. True. And then we verify if it was issued by us. But for purposes of foreign consulates, usually they'll ask you for a certified copy. So even if you are married wherever, you still have to get it certified with us. So if it's the church, they should have filed documents for the year that you are married, and then we can be able to retrieve them and prove that the marriage actually took place. But again, before I go, I must have spoken about 18 and above. Yeah, you did. Yeah, but those are not the only requirements for one to get married. If, for example, like if you're coming and want to get married at our offices in Kololo Plot 2, apart from being 18 years, the given is 18 years. The standard. Standard, yes. But then there are some other requirements. You must bring an LC letter. An LC is like our most important local leader in the communities where we live. So we need proof that actually they know who you are and they can vote for you. That you're an individual that they actually know in the village or the area where you live. So we need an introduction letter from your LT. We need your national ID. Yeah. We will not wed in Uganda without a national ID. And that's why I said 18 years, because the national IDs are issued when you're 18 and above. Really, but I feel like there are so many weddings happening and we don't have national IDs. Where are they? Where are those weddings? People get married every day. Where? And they don't give national IDs. So how, you see, national IDs, the important, I don't want to speak for NIRA, but the importance of a national IDs is it is the only identity that can verify your name. Today you're going to be called Charity something else. You find your ID will have another name. So what is the point of you having records? 3 records that are actually, that should be genuine, but that are giving different, even leaving out an abbreviation in your name makes you a different person. Wow. So that's why we want the validity of, we want a valid national ID for Ugandans. Non-Ugandans, of course, it will be your passport. Yeah. That's the only thing we can actually use to verify who you are. Then we will need affidavit stating that you're actually single at the moment. We don't want to wait people who are already married in other marriages. Yeah. So if you're already married, then we'll need proof that that marriage was dissolved. So that is a divorce absolute. Yeah. Or a divorce, statement or document. And what else have I left out? Affidavit state that you're single. So we need the one for the gent. For the man and the woman, not the man alone, for the man and the woman, both, the couple. And then we can, once you have submitted all the documents, you pay 260,000.
I was just about to ask if, you
You see
know,
how
the
cheap it is?
cost of all these processes, because, you know,
260
getting this
only.
260.
That is money that you can eat in one night.
Really?
Cafe Javas, how much 3 people here spend 260 or even more. So our marriage is at 260,000, and you pay that money in a bank. You don't give it to an individual.
Ah.
And then you choose a date.
Okay.
When you hear in your churches when they are announcing that Provia is going to get our readings, marriage bands of Provia, and maybe Solomon, and this is the third reading. If anybody has anything against it, we do the same as well. The churches actually adopted it from civil marriages.
Yeah.
Because I told you that they conduct marriages on behalf of the state. So the way they do it in the church, we put you on our notice board for 21 days. And then after 21 days, you choose a date, and then you are wedded.
You are wedded.
There are circumstances where someone cannot wait for 21 days. Maybe they're getting married to someone who lives outside Uganda, and they came for a holiday. Maybe they had planned their wedding, but the person came for a short holiday. So those special circumstances, you can actually apply for a license that is issued by our Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And then it waives the 21 days, and you can be wedded in a shorter period of time.
Okay. Ladies, as we come to an end of our interview, I would like to ask Madam Provi to give us 1 or 2 words to ask the singles on what we can do to get ourselves, you know, into those licensed marriages. Any advice for us? Guidance that we don't get scammed?
You know, I used to go to church in Christ the King, and there was a very interesting priest called Father Sembatia. And he told us that as a young person, first of all, number one is when you go to church, you must enter when everybody is seated. That's the first piece of advice. So that when you enter, everybody sees you getting into church. That is my first piece of advice. And then after, when you enter, you make sure that when you're going for Holy Communion, I'm a Catholic, you go last.
Why?
So that the other single men can be able to identify you. So you get that perfect advice.
Wow.
When it comes to, yes, so he had said when you're praying, make sure you're visible. So, Father, don't kill me. It was a fun thing. But for you to get, for young people to get married, I mentioned the 5 marriages. It's diverse. Yeah. The choice is yours. If you know you are polygamist by nature, what is the point of you getting married in a civil? What's the point of you coming to our office or going to church? Yeah. Go and kwanjura as many as you want. Do your kuhinjira with go and visit your wife's family and your wife's families and have as many wives as you can. But if you know naturally you are a monogamist, which most men are not, then you go civil or you go church. Most importantly for you to understand is, if you are a gentleman and you kwanjura woman number 1, and then you want to go into a civil marriage, remember that the kwanjura is a marriage as well. Customary. If you get a second woman, until you annul the customary marriage you had first, you cannot take the second woman to church. That is very important. I can repeat it. If you have 2 girls or 2 women or 2 suitors, and one was kwanjula, and then you leave the one who was kwanjula and you get the second and you take her to church, because it's not everybody does kwanjula and then church. Some people will do the kwanjula and they say to some will do the kwanjula, they go to for civil marriage. So if you meet someone else, you must annul the first marriage and get the consent of the first wife. Yes. For you to go to church with someone else. Yeah. So if you know you don't have the capacity of being monogamous, then you do customary marriages and just stay there. So that's, I think that is for me my takeaway for anyone. Sure. But also most importantly is if you're getting married in church, or you want to get married customarily, you make sure you register those marriages. The responsibility lies with the person, the celebrant of the marriages, but certain times maybe they will not file your marriage in time. So you can nudge them, you can actually speak to them about filing your marriage, or they give you the details and you carry them on your own, which we never vouch for, but it's done by some couples. Yeah. Because you need a cover letter from the church that wedded you, or a cover letter from the sub-county chief to bring to us for us to be able to accept that marriage. So the celebration of a marriage does not end at the celebration. You must ensure that that marriage is registered with URSB. Yes. The registrar and the safeguard of all the marriages in Uganda. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Formalization and growth of your business is the topic we are discussing this month, and this is just a snippet of what we have in stock for you. Stay tuned on all our social media platforms to get more information from
people from URSB to guide you on how to get formal in all ways, ladies, always. Not only businesses, but in life, marriages, we need to be safe. Thank you so much, Provi, for your time.
Thank you too.